And so Jesus steps off the boat, and some men brought to him what? A paralyzed man. I promised you, in a town of 1,500, Jesus knew this guy. Jesus knew this guy. Anybody here, you have somebody in your life, and they are no longer Bob, they are Bob the paralyzed? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's Rupert the drug addict. It's this, you know what I'm talking about. They have a label. That is their identity with you. This is the thing. Some men brought him a paralyzed man. So they carried him. They carried this guy to Jesus. So he said, and when Jesus saw their faith, whose faith? Who? The guy's carrying him. The guy doesn't even have faith. Right? He's probably pretty confident in his paralysis, And they bring him, but they are what? They are desperate. They are desperate. They want more. They're not okay with the fact that their friend is still paralyzed. This is reality. Anybody in this world, anybody who's paralyzed never recovers, ever. But they have a belief. They're desperate for a different ending. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the man, "Take heart, son, your sins are forgiven." What? Well, my theory is, anybody here, you did something and it went badly and you ended up with some really bad consequences, but because you were stupid, you figure you deserve it? In their worldview, you guys remember at one point the disciples asked the guy born blind. They were like, who sinned, him or his parents? The guy was born blind. When did he manage to sin to get, in the womb? I was gambling pretty hardcore. Mom, move the tablet up there. All right, let's go, baby. I mean, what was he doing? I mean, I don't know. I was a go-getter as a child, but not that good. Anyway, but the reality is, here he is. He says, take heart, your sins are forgiven. Now, the reality is, why is this? Because in their worldview, his sickness was the result of his sins, and he needed to pay for it in order to get free. That's what everybody believed. And so Jesus goes, your sins are forgiven. And at this, some of the teachers of the law said to themselves, my, this fellow is blaspheming, right? Why? So these are the teachers of the law. Why are they satisfied? Because they have an answer for everything. They've got it figured out. They have a narrative that makes sense of their lives and the lives of everybody around. Anybody here have somebody in your life who's really good at figuring out everybody else? They have a gift of discernment. No names. All right. Knowing their thoughts, Jesus said, why do you entertain evil thoughts in your hearts? You know that word evil really means toil. See, the root of evil is I will do it myself. I will come up with a narrative that makes sense of my world, and I will figure it out. Which is easier to say, your sins are forgiven, or get up and walk? Now I have a question. At which point did Jesus pray? Yeah, notice, when Jesus told the disciples, did he tell them pray for the sick? He said, heal the sick. I would submit to you, most of our prayers are done out of sympathy. It's a lot safer just to speak, but moving on. Get up and walk, but I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. So he said to the paralyzed man, get up, take up your mat, and go home. Now here's the deal. This paralyzed man has been lying on this mat for years, right? This is his reality. He thinks he deserves it. He has a moment. He has to decide, is he satisfied? Is he satisfied with his lot? Is he satisfied with his story? Or is he desperate? Because desperation brings change. Satisfaction keeps you the way you are.